Hey everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery and Hump Day Hangouts, and we've got several people on actually participating with us live today, and also there could be some of you that are viewers. So the first thing I want to point out is that on the events page there is the little window where the Hangout is. There should be a Q&A button, like a little speech bubble that says Q&A. If you click on that, you can ask questions there, which I will see on my screen, and I'll be able to answer those. Plus, if there's still some spots available, you can actually join right in too. So, and we've got several people on. Somebody's got the window open that's attending. Also, there could be some of you that are viewers. So the first thing I want to point out is that on the events page there is the little window where the Hangout is. All right, so let this catch up with Brian. Hey, Brian, you've got the Hangout window open or the events page window open. You want to pause that video since you're actually inside this with us. So anybody that's inside the actual Hangout needs to make sure that they do not have the video playing on the events page, or else it's gonna we're gonna hear we're gonna hear a delay, an echo in the background. Can you hear me now, Brian?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. Just want to make sure we were straight. All right. So, anyways, welcome. I guess we'll jump right into it. Anybody have any questions right off the bat? Brian, I suspect that you do. BJ, either one of you guys want to jump in with something?
Well, you know how you said I was over optimized with the keywords on the main page with the Baltimore. So I took your advice. I took 2 words out. I took maybe 3 Baltimores out, and my page rank dropped like 2 spots in Baltimore IT support. I didn't do anything else after that. I just checked it, 2 days later, and it dropped. So I put it back in, and it went back up like 2 spots. So I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah, there's been a lot of volatility in the last couple days. Quite a bit, actually. I could actually show some of the volatility that's been going on with some screenshots of some rank reports of mine. Let me just make sure I hide the URLs, and I can show you. So you could be experiencing part of that, Brian. Honestly, if you could ask anybody in our group if they were to take a look at basically after the webinar from last week, your site is over-optimized. There's no question about it. It's over-optimized. So, if it hasn't hurt you yet, it's amazing, and it certainly will. It's just a matter of time. But I suspect again that just by I looked in fact after the webinar last week, I took a look at one of the keywords that you're trying to rank for, which was Baltimore IT support.
Yeah.
I believe. And I was looking at that, and there's not essentially it's not a real competitive term. So in looking at, if you want, I can share the screen. Let me. I'd like to show a couple things here, so let me just hide some of these URLs real quick, because I want to show you guys some of these. Some of the volatility that I'm seeing recently. Just one moment. All right, so let's see one in particular that had a lot of volatility. Whoops, no. And then we'll go in and take a look. We got a few things that I'd like to go over about that, anyways, that we didn't get to cover last week. So this will actually be a pretty good opportunity. If you just give me one moment, I'm going to find some stuff here. Oh, I got one. Here we go. Okay, so this one, let me grab the screen, sorry. Entire screen. All right, so this one, can you guys see my screen now? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. This one here, actually was one of the sites that I had come up quite a bit recently, just in the last few days. You can see that the rank here, and then you can see the change, and there's just been a massive amount of movement here in just the past couple of days. Now, this is just one example. I have another example that took a little bit of a hit. And I haven't had the time to figure it out 2 days since December 1st. I started noticing a lot of movement then. Now, here's something else that you guys might want to pay attention to, although it doesn't look like it's been updated yet, which I find odd, but Moz has a website called Mozcast. See, it's still showing it for December. You guys are still seeing my screen.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Mozcast.com. This typically will show you the volatility level, what they give it, an SEO temperature, so to speak. And it's showing it at 59 degrees, which is, about average, really, for yesterday. And I don't know, because I have seen across all the sites that I track a major difference. Make sure I can close that out. Excuse me, guys. Got a phone call coming in. Okay. Where else is that coming in at? Can you guys hear that chirping in the background?
Yep.
I apologize. I got somebody trying to call in, and I don't know where it's coming from. I don't see any open apps or anything. Okay, it looks like it stopped. So anyways, Mozcast is showing 59 degrees, which isn't really a lot, but for whatever reason, I've seen a ton of volatility. So that could be one thing that you're experiencing, Brian. The other thing that I wanted to point out was, if we go take a look at the actual, what was it, Baltimore IT support, right? That was one of the keywords you were targeting. And go ahead.
Sometimes what happens to me, Brian, is that when I make a post on a website or a link from another domain to my money site, I actually see it down. I actually see it decrease its ranking on Google, actually. But a couple of days later, it comes back up better. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And see,
so,
I think there's part of Hernan is exactly right. That's something else that you will notice when you start to make changes to your site. A lot of the times, and again, remember, when you're dealing with an over-optimization issue, which is an on-page thing, then you're also dealing with the Panda refresh, which is about every 20 days roughly. Okay, so when you make changes, there can be some initial, immediate changes or shifting that you'll see. Generally, you don't, though. I mean, if it is, it's a minor shift. It's nothing drastic. But then when the next refresh rolls around, then that's when you'll see a big jump. And here's the thing with changing stuff around and being too jumpy, okay, or too anxious to see results from changes that you make, is that I truly believe, now I can't prove this, but I truly believe that Google monitors that kind of stuff to see who is it that's tweaking their site as an SEO and who isn't. In other words, if you make a small change to your site and it drops 5 or 6 spots, and then a day later you go back in and you change stuff back around again, do you think that they're monitoring that, and that they're saying, okay, well, this guy is clearly an SEO? Does it flag your site, in other words? And I've seen that myself. Again, I said on the webinar last week, I've been very guilty of that on myself, where I've made some changes, and then I didn't see a change that I wanted to, the effect that I wanted it to have, or I intended for it to have. So I went in and changed some more stuff, and then I changed some more stuff, and sometimes you end up causing more damage than you do good that way. So that's why I suggest that you go in and you make some changes, and then you give it some time. And I don't mean, Brian, 2 days or 3 days. I'm talking about giving it like 2 or 3 weeks, or even 30 days to see. Generally, you don't have to wait 30 days, because within 3 weeks you will have passed a refresh point regardless, right?
Sure.
So, just like what Hernan said, for example, I see your site number 7 position right now for Baltimore IT support, okay? But if you look at these other listings here on page 1, I mean, there's nothing with incredibly high metrics here. About the highest one is this one right here, dataprize.com. And, so, you're actually number 7 with a domain authority of 12 and a page authority of 22. So what I'm saying is if you were to go in and make some of those on-page changes, and we'll get into a few more of them here in just a moment, because I wanted to talk about, menus and drop downs and things like that, and you give it a few weeks, I suspect that you're going to end up rising more. So just like what Hernan said, you might drop a couple spots up at first because you did make a change to your site, and that'll register. But then if you give it time for the refresh to come through and kick in, it's going to recognize that as reducing the density on the page. You're removing some of the over optimization, and you should come back and actually higher than where you were originally. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Hernan, do you want to add to that at all?
No, it makes a lot of sense, Bradley. You nail it down. I mean, I get like rankings every day, emails from every day. So and you can get to see sometimes the patterns, that Google uses, because I'm seeing some sites and I said, they take like 2 or 3 spots down, and I see, okay, yeah, because I did this and this, or I link from these and these, or I'm linking, So it's I mean, as an SEO, you need to, or at least I think that you need to learn to see those patterns and learn to to keep doing what you're doing. As I like to put it.
Exercise some patience too.
Yeah, that's right.
And that, I'm telling you, that's one of the hardest things as an SEO, and for me, is exercising patience, man, because I want results and I want them now. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, the point is for Google. I mean, the whole point is that they create this kind of controversy or where you don't know where you're at, because that's their business, and that's what they're doing with the sandbox and the refreshing every 20 days. And if we wanted more immediate ways to bring traffic, which is also good, we could try another traffic sources. But on SEO, we know that it's probably long-term or mid-term at least, depending on the term. But it is another way of bringing traffic with its rules,
Sure.
Got it. Looks like you guys weren't seeing my screen for a while there, so now I've got it back. Yeah, that's right, Hernan. So, anyways, back to that, guys. Thanks for pointing that out. I wasn't on the screen, so next time somebody could jump in and let me know. I guess you guys aren't seeing that. You aren't seeing the Q&A box. So, anyways, I didn't realize I wasn't showing the screen. You guys are seeing it now, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, I mean, again, exercise some patience. By the way, I know we talked about last week, making sure that you are tracking your rankings, and Hernan just made a good point. There's a rank tracker. I know that both of us are using that. I use multiple rank trackers, but this is one that I've been using recently. I've been using this one recently because it'll track YouTube videos as well, which very few of them do, and this one does. But ProRankTracker.com. This is not an affiliate arrangement or anything like that. Just go check them out. They've got some good pricing, and they will send you daily emails to show you the daily report of where your sites are and like what the ranking positions are, and then they'll also send you a second email with rank changes. So it'll show whether you're going up or down on a daily report. So this is a really good and a very affordable solution for tracking your sites, including YouTube videos. Which again, that's rare that a lot of rank trackers don't do that. So I'm using this primarily for that, but this is a good solution for that. Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about with drop downs. Drop downs are really bad for SEO. I don't know if you knew that, and so you can actually there's what's called, and it's kind of an older term, would be page rank sculpting. And that's where you direct how the link juice flows on your site between your menus. Siloing is kind of a form of that in a way, as well as setting up, theming a site, or creating thematic relevance is another term for it. But page rank sculpting, and now what I would call domain authority sculpting, right, or page authority sculpting for that matter, would be how you direct the link juice or link flow on the site itself. And so one of the ways that bleeds a theme is to actually have a drop-down menu. Okay. The other thing is your order of buttons. Now this is just minor stuff, but it does make a difference. Cumulatively, when you add all these things together, it does make a difference, and that's what I want to get the point that I'm trying to make. So when the spiders come and crawl your page, they crawl it just the way we read. okay, which is from top to bottom, left to right. Left to right, top to bottom, I guess I should say. So when you're ordering your buttons on your navigation menu, you want to put them with the most important, the pages that you want to rank the most to the far left, and the ones that are the least important to the far right. And that, believe it or not, there's actually more page rank flows through the navigation buttons that are closest to your logo or your home button, and again, or the home page. And since this is the home page, and the incoming links that are inbound to your home page are pushing juice to this page, they're going to crawl, and the first link they're hitting now is the About Us. So that's really an unimportant page as far as ranking. So I would move that to the far right. Usually what I do is I always have my last two links are going to be About Us and Contact Us on the far right. So that's just a little tidbit there. Number two is when you're using drop-down menus, it's not as, I guess it's not as important if you don't have a siloed site. Drop-downs really aren't that big of a deal if you're not using, if you're not siloing your site out. But when you have a siloed site, which means you set up categories and everything is very clearly defined as to the hierarchy of the content on the site itself, then when you have a drop down, it bleeds it, because what happens is the spiders come in, the link juice flows into this page, it hits this menu button here, and then it just disperses across all of these. So you're not really directing the flow that well. It's not very efficient. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm getting rid of that anyway. So
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, when you click over to the services page, you've got that ability here, okay? Which what I would do with this page here is I would actually make these clickable and actually probably get rid of the menu, at least on this page. There's a widget, a plugin that you can use called, what is the one that we use several of them. Widget Logic is one of them, I think. Marco, there's another one that you use. What's it called?
I use Widget Logic.
Widget Logic. Okay, then there's another one that
Widget Logic.
There's another one that I use. I can't remember the name of it. It's widget something or another. But basically, they're conditional widgets, which means you can have certain menus appear on certain pages. And so that's kind of a way that you can manually silo out a site if you wanted to do that. And all that's going to help. What I would suggest doing here, though, is actually just probably having a little brief snippet of text after each one of these to give it a little bit more relevancy. So like the bullet point dash and then a sentence or two, just a very small snippet describing what it is, and then have each one of these be clickable, so that basically you could, this would be your, for lack of a better term, this would be like your index page. Does that make sense? Table of contents page. Okay.
Yep.
And then I would just, like I said, get rid of that and then reorder the buttons a little bit. I think that would be important. Also, let me show you. I'll log in to one of my my test sites that I always use for these kind of things. You can do that will help. Okay, something else that you can do is when you go to Appearance and go to Menus, and when you up here where it says Screen Options, if you click that, you'll see this box right here called Link Relationship. If you check that, it's going to show you on your About and your Contact or any page that you're not worried about, give you this box right here that says Link Relationship, and you put no follow in there. Basically, you're telling them, hey, you can come crawl this link, but don't pass any juice to it. So what that does is if we open this link in a new tab, and I got to turn my no follow highlighter on, so let me do that real quick. If I refresh this, you'll see how it put a strike through About and Contact, and so basically it no followed those links. All right. So those are just little things that you can do. As far as internal linking structures, how familiar are you? I certainly can't get into siloing a site today in this short amount of time, but are you familiar with how to silo a site?
No.
Okay. Well, the short answer or the short description would be where you figure out, you group keywords that you're targeting into certain groups, okay, that are closely related but different enough to where they could be categorized as their own groups, and then you create a hierarchy. So basically categories.
Oh, okay, I understand now.
Yeah, and then you would have, like, for example, IT services, you could say, and then you could have, like, if you have like 3 sub-services or more specific services within the IT services umbrella, then you could basically put those like as child pages to the IT services page.
Gotcha.
Right. And that way you would actually have, like, for example, you would have up here services could be it would be the index, basically the index page on, and here you could say click for IT services here, they click to that, and then that takes them specifically to only content about IT services, and in this menu over here there would only be links to the IT services stuff, not everything else. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And again, that's where like conditional widgets come in into play, because then what you can do is you when any spiders come in or any link juice from any links that you build, because let's draw a little diagram for that so that you can see. Open up a new. I want to show you an example of what this will do. All right. So let's say this is your top level category, and Brian, I'm going to ask you to give me, and we'll just add 3 other circles real quick. I'm going to ask you to give me 3 supporting terms for IT services. Is IT services a good category name or no? If not, give me one. I haven't started naming anything yet, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Oh no. Snagit decided to take a dump on me in the middle of a presentation. Let's cancel it and I'll start it over again. One moment.
Probably we can make a quick video and post it on semanticmastery.com, on how do we silo, at least, with a couple of examples.
Yeah, I still want to go over the concept here, but yeah, we can do
yeah.
that too. We can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, we probably should. Well, we have a conceptual video. If you look up in Google, just type in website silo architecture.
Right, yeah.
You'll see on the first page of Google, and I think position number 4, a video that I did with one of our old members, Quentin, and it's just basically talking about the concepts of website silo architecture. But I'm just going to use these 3 examples really quick right here. All right. So you said IT services is okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to call this IT services. All right, and then give me 3 sub-services.
You could just say computer repair.
How about PC repair, just because it's shorter? All right, what's another service in there? Networking?
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, and one more.
Data backup. But you just put backup. Yeah.
Data backup. Okay. All right, so essentially this would be a parent page. So IT services in your case, because what I would do is I would have, like, so if you're looking at the URL or the slug, the way that you would set this up is you would create a page that would be called, IT services, whatever. You have content on the page about that. The slug, I would narrow it down to just services. I would make it very, very short and just have be services would be the permalink for that page. Okay. Then underneath that, I would have PC repair, networking, and data backup. Each is their own page. Or it's debatable, but I'm just, for concept reasons, I'm going to just talk about the traditional silo method here. Okay. Each one of these would have their own page. Okay. And you would set them up as a parent and child page relationship. Are you familiar with how to do that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So then basically you would choose the IT services page as the parent page. So when you looked at the URL with this page, if it was, say, PC repair, it would end up being BaltimoreComputerSolutions.net/services/PC repair. Okay. And then on that page there, what you would want to do is from the IT services, which is the silo landing page, right? So this would be the the top level page, you would put a link to the PC repair page. On the PC repair page, you would link back to the IT services page, somewhere in the content, preferably with a contextual link. Okay, and you could use the actual keyword to link back because it's internal. You got to be careful with how many times you do that, but in this case, it would be okay to do that. Okay. Same thing for networking. You would have a separate page on your site that would be nested, a child page of IT services. So it would be IT services /networking. You would link from a contextual link on this page down, and then obviously back up to there. And then lastly, you're going to repeat the process for this one as well. Now, what happens is, now also, by the way, if it makes sense, if it naturally occurs where you mention networking in the PC repair article or the page, then you could do what's called a lateral link or horizontal link, right? And likewise, you could link back. You don't have to. You don't have to force any of these links here. If it happens, it helps. It's a natural point to link, then it helps, but don't force the keywords in there. I never do, and I don't have to worry about it. But if it does occur, then it helps to add links there, okay?
Gotcha.
So, for example, even PC repair could be, you could possibly mention data backup in the PC repair, and that would be another link there. It could be that way. It could be any combination of these linking together. But the important point to remember here is to link from the silo landing page to the supporting page. This would be considered a supporting article or a supporting page. And in this, linking back up to there, right?
Gotcha.
Now what happens is anytime that you're building links to any of these pages, to any one of these 4 pages, so let's change the color here. Let's say that we're building links to the PC repair page. These are inbound links. Now you're actually, and you're using keywords, and I would suggest using more general keyword terms now for link building than exact match anchors like with geographic terms. You don't really let the on-page factors rank you for the terms that you want to rank. You want to use more generalized terms now, more broad terms for link building. But again, when you're sending links into here, you're going to actually push the juice back up to the silo landing page, right? Because of that link from the PC repair page back up to here, you're going to be pushing juice back up here. And then what happens when that juice hits this page? Well, it goes and it finds these 3 links to the supporting articles and pushes itself down there, crawls that page, and what's it find on that page? Finds a link back up to the landing page again. Crawls down to this page, what's it find? A link back up to the landing page again. So by setting your silo structure up like that, or your site structure up like that, you're recycling link juice and you're building thematic relevance for this entire cluster here. So, in other words, if you were to build links to the networking, same thing. It's going to do the same thing. If you were to build links here, what's it doing? It's doing the same thing. So, any point that you're building links now to this, to any one of these pages in this cluster, it's going to strengthen the entire thing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so, and the idea here is, and that's part of the reason why, if you were to separate these into a more categorize these pages a little bit better, and then to make a hierarchy such as what I just illustrated there, then you can be more specific in the anchor text coming in. When I say specific, I don't mean like you don't have to build with the geographic modifier Baltimore and all your links and stuff, and I wouldn't suggest that. But you're essentially increasing the relevancy of each one of those clusters, and that's going to make the entire cluster stronger. So that's an on-page thing that will magnify any of your off-page activities.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, let me go back and check the screen.
Just to add what Bradley said, which I think is really important, is that you will also be ranked, since you are creating thematic relevance or proximity, what we call semantic proximity, is that those pages will be ranked for keywords that are closely related, that you are not directly optimizing them for, either on the content or via the backlinks. So that's important because you're also increasing your visibility on the search engines.
That's right.
Gotcha.
That's right. Now, again, maybe in another session we can talk a little bit more about. And this is the traditional silo structure. I know you're not seeing it now. Did you guys see that at all? Could you see that while I was illustrating that, or no?
Yes.
Okay. I'm seeing in the comments over here that it wasn't seen again, but I'm going to stick this link in chat, guys, and I'll also stick it. This is just a screenshot of that, of what I just drew out. I'll also stick it on the event page if I can. I'd actually shut that down, but I'll stick that on the event page afterwards, and you guys can take a look at that if you want it. Again, it's just a very crude drawing, but the concept remains. You know, it's something that the traditional silo method would be to create, and there's different opinions on how many supporting articles it takes to make a true silo. For a lot of local stuff, I've been able to get away with a category page, so a silo landing page, a top-level page. So that's going to be your broadest of terms. And then I've been able to rank very, very well for less competitive local type terms with just 2 supporting articles. The idea here is that you want to take the broadest of terms, which are going to be generally the higher competition terms, and you want to find the supporting more long tail terms, right? So the supporting terms, supporting keywords, which are generally more long tail, less competitive, and you want to create content around each one of those and stack them into that silo, and so that you're building relevancy on that more difficult term, and which to use the term of a phrase that Keyword Network Empire called it, which is a great term. It's called buoyancy, right? Buoyancy. It's buoyant page rank, it used to be called, but now it's buoyant domain authority. So essentially, all of that kind of helps the harder keyword to rank because it pushes it up. So with the local terms, like I said, with less competitive stuff, I've been able to do very well with just 2 supporting articles. But the idea is, if it's more difficult and you're not seeing the results you want, you just add more supporting articles within that silo, within that category. Recently, there's been a lot since Panda 4.0, so I guess that was back in May. I've seen a lot of being able to combine multiple keyword phrases, or what would have traditionally been its own supporting article, so having its own page dedicated to one specific keyword, combining those all into one super long page, and just setting them up where they're broken out into sections using H tags. So like H2s or H3s, where you break one long page. So I guess in order to try to simplify this, the traditional silo method, you take one specific keyword for each page, right? You'd optimize the page for that one keyword. I mean, you'd use LSI keywords, co-occurring keywords, and such, but the idea or the topic, the theme of that one page would be around one specific keyword, right? The problem with that is, since Panda 4.0, it's easier to over-optimize stuff now, and so when you're targeting one specific keyword on a page, it's very easy to over-optimize that page for that one keyword. So by combining, let's say, 5 supporting articles, if you were to have 5 supporting articles, by combining all of those into one page, you're targeting 5 keywords on that page, so it's less likely that you're going to over-optimize for any one keyword. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I've been, personally, what I've done since that time is I've created super articles, as I call them, and I've combined everything in. I still set up a silo structure on my site, but for the static type pages, I put everything into one long article and in the proper category. But then if I'm doing if I need additional support, then I just use blog posts, where I target one keyword per blog post and use that and just place that within that category. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can you create pages for like each local county, like say Harford County IT support? Does that help? I mean, does that help, or will they catch up on that?
No, it helps. You just got to make sure that you have unique content on each page.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of the things that you could do, I found that would be very, very effective for that, is to use video. If you're comfortable doing screencast videos and like narrating or whatever, like you could just do a very quick screencast video saying, "Hey, I do computer solutions IT support for this area, whatever. I'm familiar with this area. I have clients in this area," something like that. But each video would make it unique. So that's something like I do with plumbers. For example, I'll have a plumber that I'll tell the plumbers to take their smartphone, their Android or iPhone or whatever, and when they're on a job, just take a 30 to 60-second video with their smartphone saying, "Hey, I'm on location at," and they make sure that they mention the location. They say, "We just got a service call to repair a water heater that went bad. This is what we found when we got here. This is what we did to fix it. For any plumbing problems that you're having in this area, call." And they send me the video. I upload it to YouTube. I have it transcribed, and then I just use the transcription as the content for the page. That makes every page 100% unique, and it works very, very well. So that's something you can do too. Okay, we're at the 30-minute mark, so I'm probably going to jump off. Man, you guys, I don't know how many. Hopefully, in the recording, it'll show my screen if I didn't, because it looks like you guys saying you weren't seeing my screen. So I apologize for that. Okay, yeah, BJ, I'll answer your question. Great tip on the YouTube video. If you still have time, I have a question on Google Maps 7-pack listings. Do you have any suggestions? Best practice on how to get a site back into the 7-pack. Yeah, sure, BJ, I'll be happy to answer that. Since the Pigeon update, which was July, towards the end of July, I believe, Maps has been really volatile as well. See a lot of shifting. It used to be where you could rank in Maps and it would stick like forever. So it was always like what I would consider front-end heavy work. In other words, you would put all the work in to get it to rank, and once it was ranked, you could like take your foot off the gas and it would just stay there. I have seen a huge difference since Pigeon where things are moving all around. I mean, daily I'm seeing shifting in the maps. So what Pigeon did was it brought more of the traditional like organic SEO factors or signals into the maps algorithm. Because essentially they're two different algorithms, but now there's a lot more overlap than there ever has been in the past. So if you were on last week's webinar, or if you haven't been, if you want to catch the replay, it should be up. I don't know if we put it on our site yet, but domain authority is one of the big things that are going to make a difference. So boosting domain authority for your site will help it to rank in maps. That's number one. Number two is to more citations, but go for high quality citations only. I would not go for lower quality citations. So, like for example, I mentioned in previous webinars, I use Bright Local. Bright Local is a great service, and you can actually sort by citations. By the way, let me share an article with you guys about that. That they did a recent study. Let's see, they did a recent study on the best citation sites, as you know, on a category level, on a category basis. So I'm going to put this in the chat, and I'll also stick this in the on the events page too, so you guys can come back to it. It's in chat now, guys. But if you take a look at this, you'll see that if you scroll down, you can actually click on, like, let's just say, we'll use Brian as an example again, IT services here. If you click on that, it's going to give you a listing here of what they have found to be the most valuable citations that are very, very specific for that niche. So they're like niche-related citation sources. So when it comes to ranking in maps, again, it used to be where it was just the sheer volume, the number of citations. He who had the most citations ranked the highest. It's no longer that way. What I found to be the most effective is to find either hyper-local citations, which means directories that are specific, you know, as narrowly geographically specific as possible. So like local newspapers, those sort of things, citations from those are very, very powerful. Also niche directories, so industry specific directories, those are more powerful than like the broad blanket business directories. So this is a site that you can use to find some niche specific directories. Also, like I said, go to Bright Local and sort by domain authority or citation value. There's actually two different metrics, but a lot of the times they're very close. And just order the top citations first. And only do batches. Like, I don't know how competitive. I don't know what your niche is, but for a lot of the stuff that I do, I used to go out and buy 300 citations and just blast them, and it would work. It worked really well. But now what I do is about 10 citations per month, until I've achieved the results that I want. But that said, I'm still seeing even, I could be number one in maps today, and tomorrow I won't even be in the 7-pack. And then the next day I'll be position C in the 7-pack, and then the following day back to number one. And so there's a lot of volatility there that I honestly can't explain. I haven't cracked that yet. I'd love to, but I haven't yet. So is that helpful? Let's see. I've got one more link I want to share with you guys, and then we will. Well, here I'll share two more with you. But I do want to show you one other thing that you can check the volatility of local search too. Let me find it. What I just stuck in there was that for a condensed version of this, there's a blog post on our blog, semanticmastery.com/blog, where I did a video blog post about this and about domain authority and the importance of boosting domain authority for the local search ranking factors. So if you have the time, if you haven't seen it yet, go take a look at that. It'll kind of explain why that's important. And last week we talked several times about, sorry, I'm looking for this link. If I can't find it, I'll just put it on the events page.
It's funny, but one of the local ones wanted your tax ID certificate.
Yes, that's going to be Axiom.
Yeah.
That's going to be Axiom. Yeah.
Like, I'm not getting involved in that.
Well, it's not really necessary. It helps. It's a way that's how they eliminate spam, because they want your tax ID certificate or in a like certificate. Articles of incorporation or whatever. They want something to show that you're a valid business. But Axiom is, kind of old. That's something else. All right, I got 2 more links I want to share with you guys. I knew I was going to go over on time today. All right. The last link that I just put in there, let me grab my screen real quick. This one here will show you updates. That's not the one I was looking for. I got to find the other link. There's one that you can look at. You can actually click on, and it'll show you like a graph, and you can add in different factors that you want to see over time, like what changes have been made. It's not this one. I got to find that link, and when I find it, I'll stick it on the events page. But the last thing, let me show you before we wrap up here. I'll show you the citation sources. And let's see. I'm trying to find the link that shows the ecosystem, the local search ecosystem. You guys know what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find the link here. Local search ecosystem. Here. Yeah, that's going to be it. Let's see. All right, yeah, this is it. Let me copy this. I know I have it bookmarked. I can see. I just don't know where the bookmark is. So let me actually do that while I'm thinking about it before I forget again. Citation sources. All right, so I'm going to put this in chat as well. Guys, take a look at this, and this will show you the local search ecosystem. This is where for the Google Maps listings, the data is pulled from. And it shows Axiom, which is what you just mentioned, Brian, up here. If you scroll down, it separates them by major data partner or data hub partner, which would be Infogroup, Axiom, Factual, and then Newstar Localese. And you can see this is Infogroup here, and it's showing how many places that this actually submits data to. So in other words, like Yahoo Local, Superpages, YP.com, these pull data from Infogroup. So if you upload your data or submit your data to Infogroup, all of these sources here are going to pull data from here. All right. Same thing with Newstar Localese. I have a reseller account there. It's like 20. If you buy a single account there, it's $30 a month, right? It's or $25 a month. Yeah, it's $300 for a year. But if you buy a reseller account, they'll sell you 25 accounts for $2,500. And those are yearly subscriptions. What I don't like about it is the fact that you can, if you create single individual accounts, I'll show you another link in just a moment, but Moz Local will submit to Newstar Localese, and I think it's like $50. So I'll give you that link in just a moment. But you can see that this one submits to a lot of different places. Axiom, and this is the one you were talking about, Brian, it only submits to a few. It's one of the older ones.
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a deal if you miss it. Factual actually submits to Siri. Where is it? I'm not seeing Apple right there. So this is the only one I think. I don't know. It looks like Axiom does too. I guess all of them do now. This must have been updated. I must have had the older version because before Factual was the only one that submitted data here. So, and you can, by the way, you can submit to that for free too. So you can submit to Factual for free, and you can submit to Axiom for free, but you need company documents. And you can submit to Infogroup for free up to, I think, 3 businesses, and anything over that you have to pay. It's called a bulk account, but unless you just use separate email addresses, but you have to have phone numbers to verify. Newstar Localese, that's paid. Let me share one more link with you guys, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Oh, there's the ecosystem right there. Damn it. Let's see. Right here. Moz.com/local. What's interesting, if you take a look at this here, their partners are Infogroup, Axiom, Newstar, and Factual. Look at that right there. So you can actually get listed on all 4 of those by submitting one time here, and it's $84 per year per location. So by looking at all of these here, you can get listed in every one of these major data partners here for $84 per year. So I feel cheated because I spent all that money on Newstar Localese, and I could have come here and saved more money. So Moz.com/local. I'll paste that in here one more time. That make it through? Yeah, it did. Okay, is there any other questions? Because I'm going to wrap it up if not. Nope. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you being here. If you want to make it back next week, we're going to have another Hump Day Hangout, same time, 4 o'clock next week, 30 minutes. Guys, I've said this before, but if you don't mind, if you have questions that you would like answered, and you have time, you think about it, put it on the events page. That way, if I have to kind of collect links and things like that to share with you guys, then I'll I'll have them already, so it won't take me so long during the presentation. BJ, is there a different events page each week? Yes. Every week there will be a new events page, and I've put you in a Hump Day Hangouts circle. So every time I create that page, you guys automatically are going to get the invitation. Okay. For anybody that's attended, I add you to that circle, and then you'll get invited to the next one. So just pay attention to your email or your notifications, and then when you RSVP to say that you're going to make it on that events page, you can just submit your questions ahead of time, and I'll prepare for them a little bit better. All right. Okay, guys. Thanks for being.
Don't forget to check the membership also.
Oh yeah, I just assumed. Yeah, and obviously go to semanticmastery.com. Check out our blog. You can sign up for a membership. We do bi-weekly calls. Like last week, what we did, that was we kind of gave that to the public for Thanksgiving. But we do those every 2 weeks where we go into real in-depth, a lot of stuff that I'm not going to talk about publicly. We talk about inside the members area. Plus we have the community, the Google Plus community, where we do a lot of discussions about things. And we also have a lot of our own training products and software and applications that we're developing that will be available to the members. So check it out at semanticmastery.com. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. You'll find me on Google Plus, Bradley Benner. And we'll see you guys next week.
Okay.
Have a good one.
See you next week.
Thank you.